Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to our first episode of the FSM Roundtable. My name's Tyler Riley, and this week my guests are Addie Barton,
Hi.
Pierce Jacobson, and Toni Birner. And today we are talking about something I think is pretty cool because y'all are all in different stages of life as a student. So you're in 7th grade, Addie, and you are a part of the homeschool setting. You said you've been doing that your whole life.
Yeah.
And then Pierce, you're in 6th grade, so you just made that jump to middle school. And then Toni, you're graduating from high school. And yeah, as you can tell by that reaction. And so I just want to be able to have all of us just sit down at the table and just to be able to get y'all's perspectives on where you're at and what you kind of see around you. And so the first question I would ask y'all is, what is the best part about being a student in the stage of life that you're in right now?
For me, I would say, I think it would be because, like, since I'm in high school, I have, like, all this freedom. You know, I can drive now, and I just have a lot more freedom, I guess, because, like, I'm older. But it's really nice to still, like, have that authority figure of my parents and, like, my older siblings. But, you know, like, once I like leave, that's going to be gone. And I guess that's just like something that I'm really enjoying right now is that like I can have that figure to look back on. I guess they help me to like balance things. Like if I leave something at home at school, I can text my mom like, Mom, can you bring my laptop to school? And so I love that. I guess it's just like so nice to have kind of a balance of like I have so much freedom. All my friends are in the same hometown, but I can also have an authority figure to look back on. So I love that right now.
I'm curious for y'all too, as y'all, like we were just saying, like Toni's about to graduate and go to high school and she's talking about all these other things. Does where she's at in her stage of life, does that seem like it's super far away for y'all, or does it seem like it'll be here before you know it?
Like super far away.
It seems pretty far away?
Yeah, same for me. It feels like it's going to be a long run to get there.
Yeah. And then from your perspective,
I literally still think I'm in 8th grade.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm like anytime you say that I'm a senior, I'm like, no, I'm not. Like it happened so fast.
It is crazy because I remember, obviously, I'm in the unique perspective of the stage of my life where I remember being in all of y'all's positions. And I remember being in the position where I was like, that sounds like it's so far away from now. But then also being in your position where you're like, I feel like I was there yesterday. And so it's so unique. But for either one of y'all who wants to answer this next, what would y'all say is the best part about being a student in the stage of life that you're in?
You can go.
Well, for me, it would probably be the opportunities I have now being in middle school. You have a lot more opportunities. You can join clubs at school, and you can help with them. You can help volunteer at places, and it's really just nice being able to have more opportunities. You have a lot more open doors you can try out for, and it's really nice.
Yeah. Have you seen like maybe some different things like through those organizations or clubs or things like that? Have you started to see like maybe more of things that you like a lot or that you're really passionate about?
Yes. I like playing in football, and that's really fun for me. And I also really like just going to church, and I have more opportunities at church. I can like volunteer at places. We can do the road now and Curious, and we get to have just super fun.
Yeah, that's super cool. What about you? What's the best part about?
I think the best part is like you can get deeper into like things you're learning, and there's like a lot more opportunities to make friends and go on like trips and stuff.
Yeah,
with church
absolutely.
And school.
We were talking about this like beforehand, and about when you were saying kind of you can start to get even deeper into the stuff, especially the stuff that you really enjoy learning. What did you say was your favorite thing to learn about right now?
I liked learning about space and like the stars and planets.
Yeah. That's probably my favorite. I had a friend who would always ask us like, what's your favorite aspect of creation? And I always thought it was like a really interesting question, but mine was always space. And then I would have friends who were like, oh, mountains are my favorite like part of creation and stuff like that. Mine was always space. I've always loved space. It's so cool. And it's so cool because it really is like you get a bigger picture on how big God is, as kind of cliche as it sounds, because you look at space and what we know about it. There are people who have gone to years of school and have been in that field for years, and there's only a certain level we've been able to go. There's still so much to explore with it and stuff like that. Yeah, it's super crazy, but yeah, that's really cool. What on the flip side would y'all say is the hardest part about being a student in the stage of life that you're in right now?
For me, it would probably be the responsibilities I now have as a 6th grader. Scarlett, who's in 8th grade, is getting a lot more work getting prepared for high school. So now I have the responsibility of trying to help out my younger siblings. It's just, you have a lot more schoolwork you need to take care of. You need to help out with like everything around the house, and it's just sometimes it can be a little too much and you just want to sit back and say, I don't want to do it, but one day you're going to have to eventually face it and take care of it.
And it's interesting, the kind of talking about the best part and the worst part had to do with responsibility for your answer, which I think is a clear picture of responsibility in general. Like, you're excited about it to have this responsibility, but at the same time, it does have a lot of weight and it is a lot of work and things like that. And I will say, I wish I had your perspective when I was going into 6th grade, because responsibility was the last thing on my mind or my radar. And I know, especially for my parents, they probably wish I would have had a lot more responsibility. So kudos to you. But what about for y'all too? The hardest?
Probably the hardest is there's also a lot of work compared to like 6th and 5th grade, and school's also harder than I thought it would be. And there's like a little bit of pressure like to keep up and not like to fail. And like I also feel the pressure of like being like a role model to my little sister. Yeah,
for sure. And we were talking about this beforehand too. You were saying right now you're in 7th grade and you're taking pre-algebra, which I
took that in like 8th grade.
Yeah.
So I didn't.
Yeah. So you are taking some tough subjects, but for the most part, especially with your answer about what was the best part of the stage of life you're in the learning aspects, it sounds like you like learning a lot, and even those, subjects or topics that could be kind of hard, it sounds like you stick with it, like you enjoy learning and really kind of diving into some of those things that accurate. Sometimes. That's fair. Math. I don't like math either. Math is my least favorite. But yeah, you're definitely right. As you continue to grow in your stage of life as a student, continue to go to the next grade and all these other things, you start to face some different challenges, even related to what you've been doing at school the whole time, right? You're going and you're taking these classes and stuff like that. The classes get tougher, the workload gets a little bit harder, and that can definitely be a tougher part of it.
Yeah.
What about you, the graduating senior?
I guess since, I am a senior, right now I'm trying to choose what colleges I want to go to. I've gotten into a few, and I'm pretty sure on where I'm wanting to go, but it's still a process of evaluating not even just where I want to spend the next 4 years of my life, but also I guess the cost of things and just things like that. And it feels like right now every decision I make or every test I take and stuff like that, it's going to be so important on my future. So I feel like I've just gotten so much pressure on everything that I do right now needs to be really good, so that later on I'll look back and be okay, I'm really glad that I prepared. So I feel like I just have so much pressure because my future feels like it's at my fingertips, and it's I need to make the right decisions and I need to do the right things. So it's weird.
Yeah. And you've always made decisions, but now these decisions seem like it
a lot more important.
Do you think that some of those decisions hold unrealistic weight in your head? Yes. Maybe they are bigger than they are?
Yes, for sure. I'm always a lot of my teachers will tell me I'm literally the most stressed out person they've ever met in their life. So I definitely I definitely think that I can like overanalyze, like, oh no, like I have to get like a perfect score on this or else I'm not going to get into college. So I know like I definitely pay a little bit too much attention to that sometimes. Mm-hmm. So that's something I'm trying to work through for sure.
Yeah. Well, I'll end with this question that I want us to kind of wrap up our time with. As you look into the next stage of life that you have as a student, so for y'all too, I want y'all to look at high school, and obviously for you, I want you to look at college. As you look to like the next stage of life for you, what are you most excited about when you think about that?
Ooh, I'll just say, I guess, I mean, there's like so many because I'm going to college, and like I was saying earlier, like I have that authority figure over me, and it's going to be so weird, like not being able to like talk to my mom every day and like talk to my dad every day, like after school. I guess that's going to be like kind of weird, but I'm definitely excited to see how God's going to like grow me in like a place where I'm just going to be like living with like my friends, and like I have to like be responsible for all of my own things. And it's going to be weird, I guess, not having that authority figure, but I think it's going to be super cool to see how I grow. And I'm excited because, like, now I'm getting to choose, like, what I want to do for the rest of my life. And, like, the classes I take are going to be stuff that I'm, like, super passionate about. So I'm super excited for that. It's going to be awesome.
It really is so much fun. College has some of the best memories for me in my life, which is a lot of fun. What about y'all? What are y'all most excited for thinking ahead?
For me, it's one, driving. I'm just glad to be able to just have a little bit of freedom to be able to go where I want to go and just get to places whenever I need to. Yep. And I also just want to make new friends, and then also prepare my future, prepare what, like get ready for what I need to do in order to have a great but God-fearing life. Mm-hmm. And I think that's just going to be super cool to see what, like she said, what God can do in us. Yeah.
You start to find out even more, like some of those, talking about the organizations and clubs and things like that, starting to learn even more, like, so what are you passionate about? What do you enjoy a lot? You even learn, what do I not enjoy as much? I can X that off the list. So yeah, it's definitely exciting. What about you, Addie?
What was the question?
What are you, as you look into like high school for you, like
right.
what are you most excited about?
I'm most excited about like meeting new friends and doing like more things I love, and like being able to share the word and help people.
Yep, for sure. That's super cool. Y'all are gonna really enjoy. It's fun to like soak in and enjoy the stage of life that you're in right now. But it also is fun to like think ahead, you know, to some of those things and kind of think about like, what am I excited for? You know, like what do I want to, you start to learn even more of like, how has the Lord wired me and created me? These are all still questions that I'm asking myself that I, you know, as an almost 30-year-old person am like still finding out some of these things in my life. Like, what am I passionate about? You know, these new areas that God has opened up for me that I didn't even know I was passionate about, you know, and things like that. And so it's fun and refreshing to get to sit down at the table with y'all at different stages and just us to be able to talk about it and talk about some of these things. What are the hard parts? What are the good parts? What are you excited for? So thank y'all for taking some time to sit down.
Thank you for asking us.
Absolutely. And thank y'all a ton for tuning in. We'll be back next month with another episode of the FSM Roundtable, but we will be back next Sunday with another YouTube video for you guys when it comes to our FSM ministry. So we will see you then. Have a great rest of your week.
Bye.